There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
My beautiful wife, she tells me, I was like, she's leaving town for the weekend. I was like, oh, because she was doing this stunt intensive. Like, oh, that's fun. And then she tells me what she's doing. You know what she's doing?
What?
She's in a field setting herself on fire.
What? Wait,
That's
what?
the whole weekend.
What's the stunt?
Wow, did she tell you that after she left the house? Did she call you from the field and say, hey, I'm about to set myself on fire?
I just heard people
How
go,
bad of a husband are you? How bad of a husband are you if your wife wants to go relax by being set on fire?
She says it's a skill.
Oh my!
But you were going to learn a lot. That actually it does take quite a bit of skill to get set on fire.
It really does. Is that the beginning now?
You know, I don't know.
Fantastic. Welcome to Charles Starkweather Part 2. I mean, last episode, contentious. I would say the biggest bone of contention was Marcus demeaning the E Street Band.
Sure.
Now, of course, Bruce Springsteen, you did get some support. I want to push back a little bit more on you because one of the things that I did not mention, drumming. Which is something that Marcus does.
We talked
you know
about
who
this
his
in the
drummer
van.
was?
We talked about
is
this again.
Max Weinberg
Yeah,
from
sure.
the Conan O'Brien Show.
I did not once demean the E Street Band. I merely
you did.
said my
Yes, he did.
personal
It's
preference. I
exactly
said my
what he
personal
did.
preference. I said my personal preference is that I prefer Bruce Springsteen over the E Street Band. Is that I don't dislike Bruce Springsteen. I dislike the E Street Band. And it's just dislike. That's not demeaning. One can say they dislike something in this workaday world without being set on fire.
Whoa.
Oh.
Unless you pay for it. And you go into an intensive and choose to be set on fire.
All right, everyone. Well, let's light the podcast world on fire. Is there a window? Could we make this building higher? Can I jump out of something? Charles Starkweather Part 2.
So when we last left Charles Starkweather, the 19-year-old former garbage man
Thank you. Former garbage.
Also, I'm sorry to interrupt again so early, but I got multiple DMs from garbage people. They were all men. But one guy, he got 2 TVs.
No,
he
we
got
know.
a full audio system. He got
We
multiple
know.
gifts for the family.
We've talked about this many times about being a garbage man has a hidden economy. There's benefits. It's technically the first version of crypto.
It's perfect.
Well, Charles Starkweather had just murdered his 14-year-old girlfriend's entire family. However, there's much speculation and debate as to whether said girlfriend, Caril Fugate, bore any responsibility for that mass murder and the further murders to come.
After the wipeout of the Fugate family, there is a wipeout. There was a turn that we're going to see. There were things get a little bit, I mean, the first half of this is all about idiots being idiots, doing idiot shit and getting in idiot trouble, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This second half is really about the massacre, right? And I actually will take from the book, The 12th Victim, I'm going to lift a term that they use, which is Charlie's Massacre. And I do believe that that's what you'd call the second half of this story is Charlie's Massacre.
Starkweather.
Perfect radio.
Starkweather.
Yes.
Well, after Caril was arrested, she claimed that she came home on the day her family was massacred to find the house completely empty save for Charles Starkweather. Allegedly, Charles told her that he'd kidnapped her entire family and had hidden them away somewhere, and if she didn't do whatever he said, he'd somehow slaughter each and every member.
Oh, that's with literally what he said, his hidden network of bandits.
Oh, my God.
And what do we know about Chuck? We got to call him Chuck.
Yeah.
Right, during the rest of
I
this.
actually think Chuck is too cool. When I think
Chuck's
Chuck
way too
Norris, I think
cool.
I'm hanging out with Chuck. He's got a cool mullet, dude.
But that's
it's
what
always
Caril
party time.
Caril called him Chuck.
Okay.
Right? So this is all Chuck's idea. So Chuck, he's got a line on a bunch of an intricate network of goons that will all do his bidding for him.
Okay, I don't think so.
Well, it was just like John Wayne Gacy used to say, hey, I know some guys in Chicago that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to call those guys and they're going to take care of you.
But it turned out that John Wayne Gacy was just talking about the 2 15-year-olds that he was paying to help him.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you Gacy maybe had a couple of guys that owed him a couple of favors because they did a couple of quiet things behind an outhouse.
I just think they were just sucking each other's dicks.
Exactly.
Well, Caril said that she believed him and therefore went along with everything that came after, all in an attempt to save her family because she believed that her family was still alive until after she was arrested. However, this claim is, like many things in this story, nonsensical for a number of reasons, even if it was coming from a teenager still in shock from witnessing at least 7 murders. That's if we give her the full benefit of the doubt.
Jeez.
See, if you'll remember, after Charles decided to kill Caril Ann's family that afternoon, he drove to the workplace of Marion Bartlett, Caril Ann's stepfather, and told them that Marion wouldn't be in for a few days. Charles, however, did not do so covered in blood.
This is, mud.
Is that right? It looks kind of like red and crusty. It almost looks like
because
blood.
you need to get your eyes checked, old man.
I actually do. But there's so much of it, I think I can actually see it. Also, you smell like Centrum Silver.
This actually might mostly be blood.
Yeah.
See, the Bartlett murders were extremely brutal and bloody no matter how you slice it, a fact based on the autopsies. And Caril Ann said during one of her many stabs at the truth that she thought her family was still alive and not brutally massacred.
As we go through the rest of this episode, you're going to see none of the stories match the forensics that come out. And one thing that really truly surprised me as we'll go through the rest of this is that how brutal they were. I kind of thought that everything was shooting murders when I first heard about the story. No, it's not like that.
Well, that means that Charles Starkweather, who couldn't hack a warehouse job loading newspapers into a truck, he would have had to kill 2 adults and a toddler, drag the bodies to the 2 outside structures where the bodies were found, then clean up 3 separate murder sites by himself.
He could not operate a forklift. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
the man
that's
could
not the easiest to do.
You can train it, but I'm just saying every person he ever worked for said the one thing that Charlie was bad at was everything. He was bad at cleaning up. He was bad at discipline. He wouldn't show up. He didn't give 110%. And it's, if you look at it going from you arriving into your home and it's pristine. It's like as you just left it. And just Charlie there with his butler outfit just being like, as you can see, I just did a once over in your wonderful family home. Like, no, it didn't happen.
Well, perhaps Charlie was quietly quitting, only doing the work he was getting paid for like a true American hero.
Wow.
I would ask this, though. I've been fired from multiple jobs. Wendy's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, the list can go on and on and on.
Last Podcast Network.
I have not been fired. But technically still successful at one thing. But if you talk to our former employees, for all of us, they would say they're huge losers. They're never going to make it. So this might just be where Starkweather shines.
Sure.
And cleaning up, I mean, that's the thing. He would have had to have done it in an hour, 2 hours at most. Because if you look at the timeline, the cleanup would have had to have happened efficiently and smartly. 2 qualities not in the Starkweather repertoire.
And it's 2 and 1 full stab into the neck. A couple of headshots, and then the brutal beating of a child to death, which is, again, in one way you could say it, it's not a clean job.
Right.
Now, this doesn't mean that Caril Ann was a willing and enthusiastic accomplice in all of the murders and crimes to come. All we're saying is that it is worth noting that Caril Ann's story, even beyond the murder of her family, has a lot of holes.
The book, The 12th Victim, posits that Caril Ann's story, now solidified from the future, is that she did not have a single bit to do with anything and everything was a surprise.
Yeah.
But I think that we'll see is that these stories, like, it can't be too opposite. Both spectrums can't be right. Charlie's stories are not correct either. The idea that she was she was the ringleader, she was the one telling him what to do, that she held a gun to her
Starkweather
mother.
doesn't even know himself what happened.
He's not even the ringleader of his own crimes, right? Because it's all impulse driven. He's a child. But there is still when you watch your whole family and then sort of be involved in it, I mean, the whole murder of your whole family, and it's, again, she's in shock. She's all fucked up.
Fast.
Yeah, it happens really fast. And I do believe there is a point where, because again, she didn't know that he had murdered before. And then he shows up.
Well,
and
I don't
it's
know
this
if he
whole
didn't know that
drama.
he murdered. He didn't know. I don't know about that.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, because I think Caril would have Caril Ann would have had to be quite dense to not put 2 and 2 together when a service station worker shows up dead outside of town and Charles Starkweather suddenly has a whole bunch of money to spend. If she doesn't put 2 and 2 together, I don't know.
Well, again, she's 13 and not at the time, and not a high active 13-year-old.
I mean, she's 13 years old. Again, this is why I'm introducing Kung Fu for toddlers.
Oh, so
because
good.
I think that would be fantastic. It goes along with my Guns for Feet program.
Well, she's 14 at this point, not 13.
Not the toddler. Oh, yes, the toddler's a toddler.
Yeah.
I'm
Carol
more on the
Ann's
toddler.
14 at this point. Carol Ann is 14. But Charles, as I said, he's no help in clearing any of this up. Because like Carol Ann, his confessions, he made 7 different confessions between his arrest and his execution. And usually his admitted degree of responsibility depended on how warmly he was feeling towards Carol Ann at that time. If he liked her, then Carol Ann had nothing to do with it. And she would say that she was either kidnapped or just along for the ride. But if he was feeling lukewarm, he'd say they at least planned to kill her family together. But if he was totally off her, then he would say that Carol was a trigger-happy banshee who finished off with her mother with a knife, clubbed her baby sister to death with a rifle butt, and later mutilated the genitals of a fellow teenager with a stiletto knife.
Officer, hear me out. Now, what if we play more of a choose-your-own-adventure? Now, you guys decide what you guys want.
Actually, it's incredible. We were going to do that anyway.
Awesome.
But it's interesting though, because we'll see. She was in this fantasy, right? Bad boy. He keeps showing up. She kind of likes that he makes her parents upset. He's rolling in and out like he's this kind of like she thinks he's a 14-year-old's idea of what's super cool, and he could be attracted to her because he's mentally 12 years old and he doesn't understand because he's also a fucking delinquent and a moron, right?
Yeah.
And so you can get fed up on this fantasy, and then all of a sudden it comes real.
Well,
and you realize that it's too real to be enjoyable because it's now like it's done. And so now you're sitting in your house with the ghosts of your family air like all around you, and it's going to change you. And this is where you see the turn.
Could be a fun haunting, though, but most likely not. Too real to be enjoyable, needs to be on your tombstone, which would be kind of fun. My question is this. Would her parents still be alive had she never met Charles Starkweather? I say yay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's Charles Starkweather.
He is the main man
The
here.
main thing to keep hitting is she's 14 years old and she doesn't fucking know shit from Shinola. And he's 18 years old and technically legal enough to go fight the Jerry's over in the European theater.
That's where he should have gone then.
Yes.
No, he was 19 and he was too bow-legged to go fight in the Korean War. He would have been 4F.
He literally couldn't even dance.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, as far as the actual truth is, we'll never know. But most likely, as we said in the first episode, what really happened probably lies somewhere in the middle of complete innocence and full culpability. Although we can say with some certainty that fear played a big role in how Caril Ann Fugate reacted over the following 2 weeks.
We'll watch it build.
Now, after the murder of Caril Ann's family, Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate spent a week together at the Bartlett home playing house. Charles described this as the best week of his life, the only time that they didn't have to obey any quote-unquote stupid rules.
Yeah, go to bed. I went over there and I went over the yellow line with my car.
That's really cool. Yeah, because there's nothing like having no rules like home ownership. It's just so easy. There's no bills. They don't constantly just pile up because you're too afraid to open them because you kind of I have a fear of the mail.
That's playing adult.
Wow, it's so fun and lighthearted.
But Chucky said they live like kings.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You know, they live like kings. In his mind, living like kings meant that they could eat potato chips and ice cream for dinner. They could drink as many bottles of Pepsi as their little tummies could handle.
That's you guys. You Carolina like that.
I mean, sadly, they are living like an American president. But
Oh, they could read as many comic books with knives as they wanted. They could watch Abbott and Costello movies all night long. And maybe they had sex. But maybe not. It depended on which one of them you asked.
Oh yeah. It's well, this is this story is it's so wild, the two different versions of the story that both of them say, because they are both opposite different stories. None of them touch reality. But if you ask Charlie what that time was like, he's like, oh yeah, we were doing it, all sorts of sexual activity.
yeah, you know that's illegal, right?
Oh,
It's a statutory rape.
yeah.
You want to be admitting
Not
to
if
that.
I marry her and then direct a series of acclaimed comedies. See, when we were getting in there, I'm always making love with
Right.
it, and because you know how it's done, right?
I do. I'm an adult with a wife and 3 children, so I'm a detective, yeah.
How?
Yes. Well,
It's
first of all,
done. And you tell me so I remember what I was doing.
yeah. How are you this dumb?
How is sex?
I'm not answering that. You'll find out in prison.
Well, Carol Ann said that he once stuck in the tip once.
Oh, I don't even want to hear this.
That's it.
Why did you include that?
Yeah. Well,
I would have rather heard about the story. I would rather heard about the baby being killed in that one story that we didn't go into the baby being killed.
No, they did not. I really believe up to a point that he barely touched her.
Yeah.
He barely touched her. He didn't know what to do. He was frozen. They were both acting like it's almost like he regressed with her, where he became even more childlike to meet her, where the two of them were like just like throwing knives and shit and eating candy.
Yeah, but she was 14. She wasn't like 9. Like,
But
I mean,
14's real young.
14,
You-
no,
you-
I know
you see
14
the
is
We're not
not young,
debating
but I mean,
that, of course. So he's an 18 dim-witted
you can have
moron.
a job at 14 years old, you know?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, as did I.
Yeah, what was that?
I was a homicide detective. It was incredible.
For pierogies? You circle
there's-
the little pierogies on your plate. That one died.
But that week, it wasn't all just Pepsi and bubble gum. During the week that Carol Ann and
This is disgusting.
That was their entire week.
Okay.
It was TV, Pepsi, and bubblegum.
yeah,
With corpses rotting outside.
Yeah, and isn't the mom's legs literally up,
Yes.
facing the heavens?
Well, it shows
and
that-
she's in the outhouse.
They were
Yeah.
just already in their little fantasy world trying to
Yeah.
act as if like maybe
Where
it
did
didn't
they
happen.
Where did they go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
no, they had indoor. They had a bathroom indoors
okay.
at that point. Yeah, because a lot of places like that they did have indoor plumbing installed, but you still had the outhouse out back because it was cute. You got your little structure out there with the moon cut in, and there's
Right.
like ancient shit down in the bottom of that shithole. But I don't think that was still in use because the story did describe Charlie as hiding in the bathroom a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where he'd go hide. He'd go tuck in upstairs. And then Carol Ann kept saying that it's interesting. She kept saying every day I'd wake up imagining that it wasn't happening, like thinking that all this was a fantasy, that this is just like that we were in a dream. And so she's already kind of living in that world, getting it all done so fast, the flurry of violence, and then immediately putting the bodies away, like kind of allows them to sort of like live in that fantasy for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
During the week that Carol Ann and Charles spent in the Bartlett family home, Carol Ann had to run interference almost every day to keep friends and family from discovering what had happened. Again and again, everyone from Carol Ann's friends to her neighbor, Mrs. Yorty, kept knocking on her door for eggs or milk or just to say hi.
God,
Made you a pie.
And she's like, leave me
Made you a pie.
Why are you coming here,
It's your least favorite. It's rhubarb.
Get away from my family.
Mrs. Yorty would come and buy extra chicken eggs from the Bartlett home. But then, of course, Carol Ann, when she answered the door and saw Mrs. Yorty or her friend Barbara or whoever, she'd yell, "Stay the fuck away," because everyone inside has the flu.
Okay.
And every time Carol Ann tried to shoo someone away, Charles would scurry to the back bedroom clutching his .22 rifle, just in case the inquiring minds decided to push their way past Carol Ann to see the supposedly sick family for themselves.
It's just like, again, it technically, at this point, it's like a heist movie comedy. Where he's like, no, you're going to do it. And he'd run up there and just like hide him and like, what'd they say? Oh, they want eggs, that fucking bitch? Like immediately just, you're free. But they're all like, again, like it's a role-playing thing that they're playing out.
Doesn't seem like it can last very long.
No. Well, the people who eventually put the hard press on Carol Ann and Charles to let them inside, that was actually Charlie's people. First, Charlie's buddies, Bob and Barb Von Bush, they came by and asked after the Bartlett family. But after they got the flu story, Bob got suspicious and went to the police. Now, the cops agreed to go in and check on the Bartletts, but after Carol Ann stopped them with the flu story and told them that Bob Von Bush was just an old busybody, the police said fine and put in their report that Carol Ann was poised and didn't appear nervous.
Oh my God, they literally used, it is almost on par with Chris Farley and David Spade in Tommy Boy. Just be like, follow me. Bees! Bees! We're getting stuck. Hey man, I'm allergic to bees.
Yeah,
Let's get out of here.
They were like, that 14-year-old's definitely running that house.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
Let's get out of here. I can't have the flu, man.
Well, 14 had a lot more responsibility in 1958 than it does in 2022.
Covering up a double, triple murder. Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's hard.
Now, the cop saying good enough was enough for Bob to say good enough. But then Starkweather's father, Guy, got suspicious. So he sent his daughter, Levita, to check on the Bartletts and therefore Charlie.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Charlie for a long time. Time to send in Levita.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. It's living La Vida Loca. She's not happy. Wow.
Go get him, Levita.
Hurricane La Vida. I've never seen a hurricane full of more wine spritzer in my life.
Again, Carol said everyone had the flu. But when Levita returned hours later to tell Carol Ann that she thought she was lying,
I'm going to tell you something, Carol Ann. I've come from the outskirts of town to bring sense of justice. I'm going to revert the justice that's been happening inside this town. You're going to see name's Levita.
La Vida, Hurricane La Vida.
when she told her, she said, hey, you're lying, something interesting happened. Reportedly, Carol took Levita aside and whispered that Charles and a gang of teenagers were holed up in the house with Tommy guns, and they were planning to rob a bank. Now, naturally, Levita returned to her father, the elder Starkweather, and told him what Carol Ann said. But instead of going to the police, Guy Starkweather decided to, quote-unquote, sleep on it.
Yeah.
He just took a little nap with it.
What's
Not
because
overnight. Sleep on it. You got to sleep on it and look at it with fresh eyes in the morning.
Because unfortunately,
Does he want to be a part of it?
and no, he doesn't. Because again, this is obviously a lie. Because Charlie doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
There's no gang around Charlie. He has been thoroughly disowned by anybody that is anywhere near. He has burned many bridges.
No, he's
The
got
one
Bob,
guy
he's
at the
got
gas
Bob Von
station.
Bush.
Yeah, he already came by. So that's the guy. That would be his friend.
All
There's
right.
he has no gang. And so the idea, you show up, you go in the house, you don't hear a gang, but it's more just like, why wasn't she like, oh, Carol Ann needs some help?
Yeah.
Instead of, she indeed said this. But then Levita, God knows what's going on inside Levita's mind.
Absolutely.
Now, had Guy Starkweather gone to the cops that night, the carnage of the next 6 days would have most likely been prevented. Although, when you consider the upcoming laziness of the Lincoln Police Department, it's hard to say. But either way, while Guy Starkweather was sleeping on it, Carol Ann's maternal grandmother, a woman named Pansy Street,
And according to the 12th victim, you knew Pansy because her lap was wide enough to fit every grandchild.
Oh, that's nice. Pansy's an old school name. A friend of mine had a mom named Pansy, and I'd never heard it before, but now that I hear it, I do like Pansy. It sounds like someone that's very sweet and someone that makes a lot of cupcakes.
Yeah, that's your transitional name.
Oh, fantastic.
well, Pansy came by the Bartlett home because Bob Von Bush told her that the family was not only sick, but was refusing to see or talk to anyone. So I suppose Bob really was a bit of a busybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when Pansy Street arrived at the front door, she found a misspelled message written on a yellow building permit saying to, quote, stay away or risk the flu, spelled F-L-U-E.
They were not, these guys
Oh
are not
my
Kurt
God.
Vonnegut.
No.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Oh, my God. Okay, so she misspelled the three-letter word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do, and he didn't help. It's not like Charlie's the one who knows how to spell.
They didn't do away as one word. They said stay
No, it was two words.
wa-
Stay away.
Oh, man. I mean, this is more of an indictment on the American education system.
I mean, this
isn't
is
it?
at a time period when it
That's
was a
really
little
the
bit more
problem.
voluntary.
I guess so.
But Pansy called out anyway until Carol Ann came to the door, pale and agitated, repeating the sickness story again and again. And so, when Pansy Street called out for her daughter and other granddaughter and got no response, she left and went to the police station. But even though the cops said they'd already checked it out,
We did
they
it.
Good.
Is Holden McNeely a detective in this from Whisbro? We did it already.
Well, they reluctantly agreed to return when she was insistent. Meanwhile, though, Pansy had spooked Charles Starkweather, who at the very least had a good instinct for when things were about to turn south, because things had gone south for Charles Starkweather many times in the past.
Caroline, let me just tell you something, okay? Honestly, I have, let's just say a lot of people have been mad at me. And I kind of like, no, when they get the most, we're at the most, right? We're at the most mad, because that's when you get fired and they take away your car, and then
It
you
sounds like
all
you've
sorts of
disappointed
things
a lot
happen.
of people.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's actually the one good thing I'm good at.
Is knowing when people are so pissed they want to beat you up and
Yes.
come and yes. You know what they got to do? Take it from Clue. They need to set up the family, pretend they're still alive, and then have the detectives walk through. These detectives don't give a shit.
No, I mean, this kind of sixth sense that Charles Starkweather had.
It's not a sixth sense, Marcus.
It is. No, dude, it's the moron's curse. It's constantly fucking up, but having just enough wherewithal to remember what it feels like when you're about to get into trouble again.
I've seen the movie Sixth Sense, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't the superpower.
I
think I'm about to go to the principal's office. Oh, yeah, because you took a shit on the crayons.
They say this quite a bit. Look at fucking Bonnie and Clyde. Like, that was the thing. They had the one thing that they had. It was like, you remember how all the times we got
that's
shot?
Just because they
I'm
know
feeling
that
that in the air again. I think we're about to get shot
I
again.
just feel like we're overusing the term sixth sense, the third eye. No, it's just they know how fucking stupid they are. And at some point, adults are going to come and solve the problem.
Now, as soon as Pansy was gone, Carol Ann packed up a few things in a red swim bag, and Charles grabbed a hunting knife, a .32 caliber revolver, and a sawed-off shotgun before both walked over to Starkweather's Ford and drove off. Meanwhile, the cops had arrived at the Bartlett home and made their way inside. And even though the house was suspiciously clean, especially for a place that was supposed to be full of sick people, the cops decided, everything's fine, despite the fact that the whole house was very suddenly empty.
Did they not wonder where the sick people went?
Well, it takes some time to build. It's another problem, man.
Oh, my God. It is their problem.
Now, while this was happening, Guy Starkweather finally called the cops and told them that his son and a few other guys were supposedly planning an armed bank robbery at the Bartlett house.
Like, your son? Famous Chuck no-friend Starkweather?
I don't believe it.
Bob Von Bush also showed up at the police station while Guy was calling in the tip just to see if anyone had any news on the Bartletts. But instead of the cops saying, dude, I think there's some bad shit going down at the Bartletts, the captain in charge at Lincoln PD, he got frustrated that everyone was telling him what to do. And he told Bob to leave it alone because everyone at the Bartlett house was fine.
They're fine. Well, I do believe at this time period, right, they have not had anything like a homicide in any way, shape, or form. I'm not giving them any credit.
Well,
but they have
it's Lincoln, Nebraska. They're having homicides.
It's not that. But again, it's not like this.
No,
and so
they're not having mass murders.
No, they are used to, in many ways, allowing households to handle their own issues, right?
Of course you should.
They all think like, oh, this is a bunch of squabbles between these people doing something, some kind of drama. So, like, for me, my thing is, I'm trying to have a Thursday. And you know what it is about Thursdays is that it's the new Friday.
So you're saying that the Lincoln PD is a bunch of no drama llamas?
Yeah,
and so they're just not fucking hanging out with it?
Like, I'm not trying to get into that Facebook mess.
It seems like there's a little bit of suspicious activity going on.
There is, yes.
Yes.
And so, since the cops refused to go check it out, Bob Von Bush and Starkweather's brother Rodney went back to the Bartlett house themselves to do more than a cursory glance. And within minutes, they found Velda's corpse stuck halfway down the shithole. They found her toddler daughter's body sitting next to it, and Marion's carcass, presumably pecked half to pieces under a screen door in the chicken coop because chickens are savage.
I bet.
Okay.
I mean, that's
small chicken hate.
One chicken starts bleeding, all the rest of the chickens are going to peck it to death.
Whoa. What is this, Twitter?
That's good piece of information. Thank you for that, Marcus. That's great.
And so, finally, after days of friends and family ringing alarm bells loudly and constantly, the Lincoln PD issued an all-points bulletin for Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate. Wow. Charles and Caril Ann, however, were already on their way out of Lincoln. Specifically, the couple were headed to the town of Bennett, 15 miles south. There on the outskirts was the farm of one August Meyer, a Starkweather family friend. And Charlie figured that he could lay low on the Meyer farm while they were planning their next move.
It really was like Grand Theft Auto then, where if you just got to a random garage in a slightly other area, like, no more stars.
Scott, you could literally have a whole new life. You could just call yourself another name and do a whole... But the key is, Kissel, is I do think you have to have like a skill. Like, you have to be able to fit into that new society in some way.
If you do have a skill, and all of a sudden, who is this new hot guy? He's really good at welding.
It's the wild welder of Cincinnati, Kentucky.
It's not right. So maybe having no skill is the best to make you a broad figure.
But Charles, despite being a hot rod enthusiast, he couldn't keep a car going for shit.
Yeah, man, I'm a sneaker enthusiast. I don't know how to fucking sew one.
Yeah, it's be like if we actually made Jay Leno fix a car. I would love to see it. No,
He does. He does.
Does he?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's just a regular guy.
I know he's a regular guy, just like us. Comes into the green room, reads his own car magazines.
He sits right there. He brings his own magazines.
No, I know.
He
He's
sits
a
right there.
great guy. He only makes money off of his stand-up,
We're the only
Wow.
ones who know this inside joke.
I know.
One of Starkweather's tires were bent, and that was causing the car to shimmy, and the transmission was starting to act up. Because when Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate first went on the run when they left the house, they found that Charles had a flat tire, so he put the spare on, but the spare was bent. So the whole time they're driving, the fucking car is shimmying along.
No, he is such a fucking They could have, honestly, they had 6 days.
Yeah.
They had 6 days to sit and plan and figure this out. If this was the one thing that they wanted to do, if they thought that they were going to kill a family and or specifically Chucky, if he thought they were going to kill this family and have freedom, you figure that he would think the freedom part.
Absolutely.
Like, what do we do with the next part? But he didn't even think. He's a moron.
Yeah. But the tire, that wasn't the first thing he had to fix. He had to fix the transmission. He could drive with a shimmied tire. So he stopped at a service station to get the transmission fixed. Caril, meanwhile, later claimed that she wrote a note that said, "Help police, don't ignore," with the intention of passing it to service station owner Dale Smallcombe.
That's the equivalent of the email I get from fucking the Biden administration.
from the
Everybody
DNC?
like, don't delete. And you'd be like, I delete it immediately.
Why are all the emails from the DNC? It's too late. It's all like, I don't understand it.
Delete it immediately.
I had one that said, Ben, what was it?
Sorry, this is late.
Yes, something like this. It was they were mad at me.
Yeah, they always are. However, no evidence of said note to the service station attendant was ever found. And even though Dale Smallcombe later said that he, quote unquote, smelled trouble from Charles, he fixed the transmission and sent the young couple on their way without incident.
Well, he was walking around, smoking, staring, being like, what have we done? What have we done? What is this going to be done? And then walking around, like staring down the road. He was real antsy.
Yeah.
And then what we'll see is, the thing is that Caril Ann goes too far in the other direction to prove her innocence by saying, well, at every point, I was always thinking of a way out of there. And it was like, I understand that you were paralyzed. You were paralyzed. You were stuck in that car because she wanted to see what was like going up in the system. So she actually stayed in the car while it got jacked up to the ceiling. Like they do with the mechanics, because it was fun. But she just stayed up there kind of to be away from Charlie, because now he's he's just rolling around like a crazy person.
Well, it's a different kind of amusement ride, but all right.
Next, Starkweather and Fugate stopped off at Old Homer Tate's Conoco station so Charles could get the bent tire repaired.
No gas here. All that's full of piss.
It's seriously.
So, well, yes, I'm sorry. You want to fill your car with piss?
I just feel like it's so weird. All they're doing is making witnesses.
Yeah. Well, at that point, Caril Ann walked by herself over to a nearby diner and got 4 hamburgers to go, but didn't tell anyone what was happening for whatever reason. I don't know why. But from what Charles later claimed, the hamburgers were kind of shitty, and Caril Ann overreacted. From what Charles claimed, she said the burgers tasted like dog food and suggested they go back and shoot up the place for serving shitty burgers. Caril Ann, of course, denies this Mallory Knox-like behavior.
Yes, because she was in there. There's the witnesses that say that Caril Ann, at that point, it looked like she was bossing Charlie around, which is kind of a dynamic they were having. She was yelling at him, being intense, which I can maybe see because, like, Charlie's also trying to keep her happy too. Because up to this point, he was love bombing her. He got that $200 from the gas station, and they've been like living in a fantasy world, and now everything fell apart within a bunch of hours. But like, I think she's just trying to talk like him.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
Trying to be tough guy?
Trying to be tough guy with him, trying to get in there with him.
It was a strange episode of SpongeBob when Caril Ann went into Krusty Krab and just shot everybody.
That's brutal.
SpongeBob.
That's actually really brutal and harrowing. That you even you
safe.
just saying that like weirdly sent like a shiver up my spine.
Can't kill SpongeBob.
Yeah.
The only thing that can kill
It feels like a
SpongeBob is drying
creepypasta.
him out. You can dry him out.
You're right.
You could dry him out. Yeah. Y'all ever see that SpongeBob porno?
Yep.
It was just so bizarre because
Yes, I did. I loved
it's one of the cleanest.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
very clean when you have sex with a sponge. Remember that episode of Seinfeld?
Let's move on.
Okay.
What we do know, however, is that Charles Starkweather loaded up on ammunition at Homer Tate's Conoco station, and it was with 2 fully loaded guns that he and Caril Ann continued on to the farm of August Meyer. Now remember, this was January, so when Charles turned onto the unpaved road covered in snowmelt, his car sunk down into the nasty Nebraska mud down to the axles. And according to Charles, Caril Ann again suggested murder in response to this relatively minor annoyance.
Sure.
For who?
I don't know. The god.
August Meyer. Because
Yeah, we gotta
August
kill
Meyer
August
for the
Meyer
road,
for
for
letting
the
the
ground.
roads.
Yeah, for letting the
Oh,
road
I
get all
see.
shitty.
She's starting to sound like me.
Yeah. Kill that motherfucker. But the way Caril Ann told it, Starkweather had developed a taste for killing by this point because he was 4 victims in. And after a week of lying low, he was ready for another thrill. So they decided to walk to the Meyer farm to do the deed. Since it was still January in Nebraska, though, and since Charles was probably wearing his cool guy outfit instead of warm clothes,
He's a cool guy.
they stopped off at a set of ruins that Charles knew from his childhood. Anyone who's grown up in a rural area knows that the ruins of old structures like schoolhouses and churches are everywhere. And anyone who grew up in Tornado Alley in particular, like, say, Nebraska, you know that a lot of these ruins have storm cellars.
They do. And it that's fun, though.
It
Storm
is.
cellars are cool.
They
Storm
are
cellars
cool.
are the best. I spent the majority of my childhood playing around in storm cellars. I love storm cellars.
Also, winter.
Would you say that they kept you down there?
No.
And you grew accustomed to
Like
it in a way?
Jacob's ladder?
Yeah.
No.
Small winter
I would say
tip.
it was the place where I went to go hide from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And it was very
Cool.
nice down there with the spiders, just me and the spiders.
Good. He's allowed to have that.
How
No,
are
that's
you-
good. That made him
It's an
who he is.
origin story for a supervillain.
That's what he is. Yeah. He's Dirt Man.
I was just going to
Dirt
give
Man was down there amongst his people in the cobwebs. He used cobwebs as money.
Yeah,
A spider is his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's underground. It was very hot in Texas at that period of time, and it's always cooler underground.
Yeah,
Where's
that's why.
Marcus? Oh, he's just hanging out with the spiders
Yeah,
again.
that's why corpses never sweat.
This might be, I don't even know if that's true. They're very glassy, I think. I was going to give a winter tip for clothing. Just wear long johns. You can still dress fashionably.
That's fantastic.
Oh, we were going to do that. Down there with the spiders again. He's probably kissing the spiders. Hey, mommy, you know, did you know you could milk a spider?
He's loud.
Hey, Marcus, why don't you just go back and hang out with the spiders?
It was where he could safely read books.
Oh.
That's right. Well, as it was, on the August Meyer farm, there was indeed the foundation of an old schoolhouse. The storm cellar contained therein was known to locals as the Cave. And since August Meyer was a Starkweather family friend, Charles had been there many times throughout his childhood. So Charles and Caril Ann climbed down into the dank recesses of the cave to warm up before continuing on. Now, August Meyer was an old man, almost 80, a well-liked, lifelong bachelor, which ain't as uncommon as you might think in rural communities.
Sure.
Not a large dating pool. Some guys just missed the boat.
Yeah, and you're only different if you were like the guy that played the piano for all the local musicals. Then you're like, that's a different type of bachelor.
Sure,
Because
yeah,
they're
sure.
not really well kept and they got nice clothes on. This is a man who's probably just didn't have much.
Well,
I think the
once-
term is he didn't have much game.
It was
Yeah.
either that, somebody died, or just the one that got away. Back in the day, if you didn't meet her in high school, if she decided to go with quarterback stew, you're screwed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's done.
Mm-hmm. But that's just to say that when Caril Ann and Charles walked up to the Meyer home that afternoon, it was only August and his dog on the homestead.
Now, what was weird was the dog was wearing a dress and lipstick. And I that's the one thing where it's like, you don't have to.
Yeah. Why does he have that big congratulations sign on that's been up and there's all these cans tied to his car?
Did you marry your dog, bro?
Now, as with every murder during the Starkweather rampage, there are multiple versions as to what happened. According to Charles, this murder and every murder after was self-defense.
Oh, please.
Jerk off motion.
Yeah.
Yes. He said that he and Caril Ann were warming themselves in Augie's barn when August came out with a gun and started yelling. He then refused to let Charles and Caril Ann inside his house, and when they tried pushing past, August fired a shot and missed.
Also, that wouldn't fall into self-defense. That would be falling into you trying to make a
broke
home
into
invasion.
Yeah, you broke into his
Yes.
house. Yeah.
Well, Augie's gun jammed on the second shot, but when he went back into the house to get another, Charles says that's when he shot him. And indeed, August Meyer was killed by a shotgun blast to the back of the head.
Oh.
It was, however, done at point-blank range, which suggests something more akin to an execution-style murder.
It's
brutal.
absolute garbage. According to Carol Ann, she was like, she saw that the dog came out. She had a version of it where she thought maybe the dog spooked him, or she thought that August came out with the gun, thinking that maybe he was didn't understand why the dog was barking, and that maybe Charlie was reacting to August with the gun. I think all of it's horseshit. I think that he went out because he left her in the car. I think he went up to this is where there's a lot of creative psychological forensics I'm going to be throwing around here. All right. So just follow me for a second. But
does that mean lies?
No.
Okay.
It means storytelling with no factual, because there is no facts to talk about it, right? Because it's all in the ether. There's no way to find out objectively what happened.
Okay.
But from my reading the material that I've read,
Let's call it educated storytelling.
thank you.
fantastic.
Edutainment. This is the true.
edutainment.
This is truly edutainment.
Fantastic.
But I think what happened was that he has understood. We talked about this on our production call. He's immediately understanding that he gets shit from killing things. That if he can kill something, that it's an easy way for him to fix problems in his mind. He thinks maybe I can just get away with all this. We'll just get out. We're gonna bug out of town anyway.
Is it possible that if they kill this guy, they can just gonna take his house?
Maybe.
It's the middle of nowhere, right?
Put in a different way, it's not necessarily that it solves every problem, it's that it solves every argument. Because
Yes. He doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because every single murder that Charles Starkweather commits, it's all about an argument for one reason or another. This one is an argument over hey, let me in your house so I can warm up. No, boom. It's just simple as that.
I think
but
that's garbage
he just
too.
has no long-term thinking whatsoever. It's just that killing solves an argument. Because as he said, dead people are all on the same level.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is why-
But it's not. But again, there was no argument. There was nothing. He came out. He knew him his whole life. He knew Charlie. He knew him since he was a little boy. He saw him. He said, hey, me and my girlfriend are stuck outside. He doesn't know what's going on. He definitely invited them into the house. I believe that entirely. And that when he turned his back to walk back in the house, he said, fuck it, and just shot him in the back of the head because I've already killed 4 people. I've already done it. I'm now going to need to do this because then we're going to try to move into this house and then we're going to move on from there. But the problem is, again, it's temporary.
This is why, as I said on the last episode, when I'm an old man, I'm going to have little signs that say, get on my lawn. Hang out, because you got to make them scared.
And then it's just a sign of you sitting down in a chair, but there's a bunch of grass on your lap.
It might be a mannequin, but it'll freak, get on my lawn.
But no matter how it went down, August Meyer, like Carol Ann's mother Velda, he got dragged to the outhouse, although Charles did learn his lesson. Instead of trying to stuff the corpse down the hole, Charles covered the body in a white sheet and shot Augie's dog just to be a dick.
What in the world?
Yeah.
No, what in the...
I get the first time he reacted. That's the first time Kissel reacted with an emotional reaction.
No, I
to
had
any of the
emotional
murders.
reactions. It's just, this couple therapy might be needed. Maybe some therapy.
Wow.
Rise from your grave.
A roast as dark as the night, perfect for fueling the cryptid research and mad ravings required for your podcasting. Don't mind the red eyes, he's just trying to warn you of the bridge.
The bridge.
Finally, from the caffeine-addled brains of Spring Hill Jack Coffee and Last Podcast on the left, we bring you Mothman's Red Eye Blend. Yes, delicious Panama beans. Go to lastpodcastmerch.com to order yours today.
Well, Charles and Carol then searched the house, finding $100, some Jell-O, and a couple of cookies. They then walked back to their car with a shovel and Augie's .22 rifle so they could dig out Starkweather's Ford. And after about an hour of digging, Charles did manage to get the car free. But since he was an idiot, the car immediately slid into a ditch.
Yeah. He's the worst getaway. The idea of even saying the term getaway artist, what's the opposite of that? What's the
Yeah, just a getaway driver, just a man who gets not even just driver. This is the first time he gets stuck in the mud. This is just the first time. We're going to be talking about getting stuck in the mud a lot over the next 15 minutes.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Get on my lawn.
Different kind of mud.
Oh, I see.
When Charles tried backing the car out of the ditch, the transmission gave way and stripped the reverse gear. But while Charles cursed his luck, he and Caril saw headlights coming down the road. This time, it was another farmer named Howard Ganucci.
Ooh.
And Ganucci only saw a young couple stuck in the mud needing help. Surprisingly, though, once Howard pulled the Ford free, Charles just gave him $2 and drove back to the Meyer farm.
Okay, and then he just took his Nokia and went home.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Once they got back to the Meyer farm, though, the white sheet used to cover Augie's corpse was gone. And Charlie got sent into a panic as to whether someone else was on the property.
Sheets don't move unless it's ghost clothes.
Whoa. Honestly, that is kind of scary.
Caril Ann, though, was obsessed with this idea that, like, that's why they left. Because she was like, his ghost is going to come back. And, like, she was very scared of August Meyer's ghost. She kept saying, we better not be in there because them ghosts are coming. The ghosts are going to come. I'm sorry, just turned into Charlie. I got some criticism about my Charlie voice because they said he's not from New York. I made him sound like a New Yorker. But I don't know. It just happened. But also, guess what? Nebraska has no accent. I looked it all up. I tried to create a character.
They got a little bit of, they got the little Wisconsin
You're
accent.
all lying to your fucking selves if you think he got one. Because I looked it up. I was like, this is the purest example of a Nebraska accent. And it's just some guy going, hey, how you doing there? Yeah. Corn certainly is rising, isn't it?
That's the there.
No, he's gonna have a hint of a hick accent. Like, I'm gonna go out now. I'm gonna kill myself a couple of ladies. Like, he's gonna
That's not a hint, but yeah.
Was that what you want me to do?
Yeah, no. I specifically requested that you use that specific voice for this episode.
I know. Don't feed the haters.
Whoa, good words.
Thank you.
Well, because they were both scared about ghosts, they got back into the car and returned to old Homer Tate's Conoco station. There, Charles bought more ammo for his new .22 and asked employee Marvin Kruger if he had any maps of Kansas.
See, because this is where he's got him. He's got him.
Where he's got.
You got any maps for the planet of Mars?
It was a different. Each state got their own map back then.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well, that's the thing, man. He's not going to Kansas.
That's it, man. Yeah, dude.
Man,
he's not fucking going to Kansas.
Chess.
And totally redeemed yourself. Get 17 miles a gallon on this hog. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, he's not going to Kansas. He's just thinking that if the cops catch up to him up to this point and they say, like, hey, did you see Charles Starkweather? And the guy would be like, yeah, man, he fucking bought like a map to Kansas.
And then he bought
You
this,
must be
like,
going to Kansas.
he has his hat that said "Go Huskers." He's going down. He said something about like, "Oh, you should see the real Paris. It's in Kansas."
Kansas. Yes, he couldn't stop singing about Kansas.
Yes, going to Manhattan. Well, since Charlie's behavior was extremely suspicious, Marvin Kruger called the cops to see if they were interested in two teenagers, quote, buying ammunition and acting funny.
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So, but for all that the gas station attendant knows, he's just a dude.
Oh, sure.
So they're just like wearing all of what they've done on their faces.
Yeah.
There was already was an APB out for both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But this guy
There's
didn't know.
There's an AP, but the thing is, when he called the cops, they knew. Because there was
Of
an
course.
APB out on two teenagers who had just massacred an entire family, but the cops still said, who gives a shit? They didn't even come
Teenagers
check it
love
out.
bullets. They love them.
Yeah, some things never change.
Well, meanwhile, Charles and Caril went back to the Meyer farm, but Charles lost his nerve thinking that maybe, just maybe, someone was still there. So he turned around, but got stuck in the mud again.
They were almost gone. They were each time, like, they're just about to leave town. Then he's just like, we got to go back. I think I might have left my socks. And they're like, what? And then you see that he's not wearing pants, no socks, just shoes and a shirt.
Rightfully thinking that his Ford was now a total loss, Charles and Caril Ann started hiking back towards the abandoned storm cellar to camp out, light a fire, and come up with a plan. But at the last second, Charles led them back to the highway so they could hitchhike.
Just stay at the house.
It's
But the house is the ghost is there.
Yeah,
the ghost
really
is
not,
not.
August Meyer's ghost is there.
You can't deal with that?
I guess
That's
not.
the
Even though they just
smallest-
made ghosts.
You made the ghost,
you
number one. And also,
created the ghosts.
that's all you have to deal with, and then you have a free house.
But this time, When someone picked up Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate, Charles would not be as generous as he was with Howard Ganucci. Early in the evening, 2 teenagers named Robert Jensen and Caril King were out running errands when they decided to head out to August Meyer's farm for a little parking and heavy petting, as it was called back then.
Yeah,
Well,
we
it's
called
always-
it inner petting.
Oh, fantastic. Must have been a very nice car full of fantastic music.
Because of Caril King.
Caril King.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, you remember that.
Tapestry, very
Love
good.
that album.
It's a good album. It's fine.
I'm starting a new show called All Dogs in Space.
Put them all up there so they can maybe colonize. And then once we get to Mars, it's going to be super cute.
That would be a great idea.
I vote against it. I vote against the space dog show because honestly, a lot of those space dogs died of asphyxiation.
They all
All of
did.
them.
I don't
All
think
of
one of
them
them
did.
lived.
No, none of them live. No,
No,
Laika's corpse is still orbiting the Earth right now.
God
Is that
bless him.
right?
Yeah.
Probably doesn't like that too much.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm just saying, I love it.
It's the best thing. It's the best joke he's had in 15 years.
Absolutely. It's Russian, too. It's a Russian joke.
Yes.
But just before they got to the turnoff, just before Robert Jensen and Caril King got to the turnoff where they were just going to go make out like a couple of regular teenagers, they saw a fully armed, mud-covered couple and decided to stop.
No.
They probably thought, they're out hunting. You know, it's rural Nebraska. They're out hunting. They got into a bit of a bad spot. Let's go and help them out.
Yeah, there was a Sharknado.
Right.
They fell down into a you know how it is with what's it? Remember the mud you can sink into?
Quicksand?
So scary.
It is scary.
It's a real threat.
It truly is.
And coincidentally, another reason why they may have stopped, Robert Jensen actually knew Charles Starkweather from the hot rod scene. Although it is not known whether Robert pulled up and said hop on in or saw Starkweather and thought, oh no, not this fucking idiot.
From what the book says, because they're reading a little bit of Wasteland, it did seem it was a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Because again, he had a reputation of being the Charles Starkweather of the hot rod community.
Right.
Where he would, no matter where he goes, he's still Chuck.
But you
And
wanna be
he has
nice.
that special flair where he just makes everybody really upset.
But at that point, he's just an annoying kind of douchebag. We were like, let's be nice to him, pick him up.
But then
Yeah.
you find out.
Either way, Charles and Caril Ann climbed into the back seat of Robert Jensen's car and took a ride back into town. Eventually, though, Charles pressed the muzzle of his .22 into the back of Robert's skull and said that if he followed directions, nobody would get hurt. So, instead of going to the nearest town of Bennett, Starkweather instructed Jensen to go back to Lincoln for some reason.
Oh, my God.
But again, Charles changed his mind and told them to return to the Meyer homestead. Particularly, Starkweather wanted to go back to the cave. Now, Charles told his prisoners that they were just going to leave him there and take the car. And Robert Jensen believed him enough where he gave Starkweather advice on how to drive his hot rod without fucking it up like Charles had done with his own car.
You got to hug her to the curves. But you got to shift her with the shifters. It's like that kind of stuff where you're like, what?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what they mean.
No, it's stuff like, you know, like don't go over bumps fast because you'll bottom out. You'll fuck up. You'll break the axle. It's stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you
'cause
see
he
all
knew
that
how Charlie
fucking
drove.
mud? Avoid it.
Yeah, you know how like you drove it directly, your fucking car, you drove directly into that?
It does
Swerve
remind
around
me,
it.
when I was in high school, I was driving my Thunderbird. And there was a snowbank, and I'm real stupid. I crashed into it like 10 times. And I would just see it, and I'd be like, I got to slow down. But then I just didn't.
Yeah.
And I would just always crash into it, and I was like, come on, Ben. You got to figure this out.
But again, here's where things get muddled. And I think that's for good reason. Because the murders of Robert Jensen and Caril King are by far the worst committed by Charles Starkweather. Now, from what Starkweather later said, Fugate almost immediately got carried away once they arrived back at the cave. He said that she pointed a gun at the couple and robbed them, then threatened to kill Caril King. And indeed, Fugate did admit to committing armed robbery that night.
And I buy this. I believe that when they're in the back seat, they're driving. He hands her a gun. She takes it. So she had a gun on Caril King, and he had a gun in the back of Robert Jensen. And they were coming back around to where they were going to get him out and going to go walk him over to the cave. But I think this is where her involvement immediately stops, where then he's like, because then she stayed in the car. And he's like, all right, I'm going to take them this way over here. And then he took them to the cave and he was gone way longer than he should have been. And then she heard the series of shots from the car.
I mean, she knew what was going to happen.
But as far as at least the murder of Robert Jensen went, Charles said that it was again in self-defense. Starkweather claimed that Robert tried grabbing the gun, and in the scuffle, Robert lost balance and Charles shot him. This, however, does not explain why Charles shot him 9 times and shot him 9 times in the head.
It's also not self-defense.
None of it is it's really, it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, you had the gun. And he keeps, like, it's this idea that anybody would believe that every single time anybody was dead around Charles Starkweather, that it always involved some Air Force One style,
Yes.
like, fighting over a gun, and each one of them died with some going, whoa, 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 and then the rifle spinning up in the air and falling, and then accidentally discharging 9 times in the back of his head.
Hear me out.
And
face off.
that's what makes sense. But that's not how shit works.
No, it doesn't.
He was shot 9 times execution style in the back of his fucking head.
Oh.
Well, Charles Starkweather has that sociopathic thing of, they forced me to do it. This is their fault. If they would have just done what I said, then I never would have had to kill them. It's
it
all their
started
fault.
with society, and now this is a microcosm of society.
Wow.
Yeah. In his mind, it is self-defense.
I mean, technically it started with James Dean.
It did.
Yeah. But again, either way, Robert's body was then dragged to the storm cellar and thrown down the stairs into the dark. As far as Caril King went, there are multiple versions to that as well, and none of them are good.
No.
In one version, King was left alive in the storm cellar with her boyfriend's body while Charles and Caril tried driving away. But once again, they got stuck in the mud, for the 4th time. So, while Charles got the car unstuck, he said he told Caril and Fugate to guard Caril King. But while Charles was digging out the car, he said he heard a gunshot and found Caril Ann standing over Caril King's dead body. Allegedly, Caril King had tried to run, and Caril Ann told Charles that she had no choice but to shoot her. Her body was then taken to the storm cellar, and that was that.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to give that a whammy.
What?
I mean, a whammy. That's I don't agree.
Again, the evidence tells a different story. Caril King's body was indeed found on top of Robert Jensen's corpse in the storm cellar, but her coat had been pulled over her head and her pants were pulled down around her ankles. She was covered in mud and bloodstains from her torso to her knees, and she'd been found shot in the head below the ear, execution style. And while there was no semen found, her genitals and rectum had been stabbed multiple times by a narrow, double-edged blade.
Ugh.
Now, Caril Ann said that Charles raped King, but Caril Ann also said that Charles left King alive, which doesn't match a Soviet-style execution gunshot wound to the back of the ear. Charles, meanwhile, initially confessed to the rape, but later claimed that he only said that to cover for Caril Ann's mutilation of King's genitals.
I think it is I think all of that is absolute garbage. I think that he shot both of them together. Again, it's just fucking Occam's razor it and really look at it.
Yeah.
She sat in the car. Because one story she says is that she was just in the car.
Caril Ann sat in the car, you mean.
Caril Ann sat in the car, heard the series of gunshots, and he came back way later than he wanted. And then maybe she came out and looked at the corpses. I'm not certain, but as soon as she saw that Caril King was undressed and bleeding, she freaked out. And I actually think I believe this. I believe that they went and she saw the evidence of what happened, because this is what really shows he was fucked up, because he sat with corpses for a second. Yeah. And then he looked at a woman, a naked woman's body, and then Charles Starkweather decided to experiment like we have seen with serial killers.
Oh, you think he's a necrophiliac?
No, it's the curiosity. How do you say it? It's curiosity.
It's the childlike mutilation. It's the sort of it's the sort of thing that a sociopathic kid does with like a rabbit. But because Charles Starkweather is a sociopath and he sees no distinction, he just sees flesh that he can experiment with.
He gets to do something with it. He has this moment. All of these crimes escalate. Everything gets worse and worse and worse, because he is becoming, over an 8-day period, he's becoming a serial killer. I see that in his head. He is now he's already doing that thing where he's now following his darkest impulses, because the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah.
Well, after the murders, the door to the cellar was covered with garbage, and Charles got back to work getting the car unstuck from the mud. By 10:30, he was successful, and the couple returned to Lincoln, having committed 3 more murders in 2 locations in a matter of hours. On the way to Lincoln, though, Caril Ann tossed some of Robert's old textbooks out the window, later saying that she did it in the hopes of leaving a trail for the cops. Charles, meanwhile, was heading back to the Bartlett place like an idiot, possibly half hoping that they could just return to the kingly week they spent together immediately after killing Caril Ann's family.
They are incredibly stupid.
Because there's this mixture, because according to the Caril Ann story, she says that he promised to take her home. He said, all right, this is over. I'm going to take you home. And I actually kind of see this in a weird way, where he actually maybe did say something like that. Like, we're just going to go home. We're going to go home. This all gotten out of control. I've gone, like, we're all going nuts. We're going to do it. But he doesn't understand. Again, it's that fantasy extension of, like, you can't go home.
Nobody.
You fucked it all up. It's all over. You've murdered fucking 7 people.
Right.
But at the last second, he again changed his mind, deciding instead that the best plan would be to hide out with his brother Leonard in Washington State. Before that could happen, though, Starkweather decided that they needed a more reliable form of transportation, which could most likely be found amongst Lincoln's wealthier residents.
Listen, Caroline, I know I've been bad. You know, all this has been bad, right?
Right, it has been really
Listen,
bad.
I've heard the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is parked in Lincoln right now.
Is that right?
And
Do you
think
think it has-
about you and me, baby, hot dogging our way across this great country of ours.
I do love
beeping
it.
the horn, shooting
Yeah.
ketchup at the cops,
That's-
fucking on mustard.
I do like that idea. It is an awesome mobile. I got a hot dog from it one time.
Apparently, the transmission's a mess, though. I'm going to have to drop it at the shop before we
That's
go.
great. You don't think you get that stuck in the mud, do you? No, 'cause it seems bigger than all the other cars. It seems more difficult to drive, but...
Meanwhile, Robert's textbooks were indeed found on the side of the road by Tuesday morning, and by noon the next day, the whole of Bartlett, Nebraska was searching for Robert Jensen and Carol King. Pretty soon, a neighbor named Merle Bolt found Charlie's 1949 Ford stuck in the mud up to its axles in the middle of a field. Merle went and told a neighbor named Hubert Beecham, and they figured that the Ford belonged to wanted criminal Charles Starkweather.
Okay.
Once the cops were... fucking Hubert and Merle are the only 2 people in the story with a fucking brain.
Hubert and Merle sound like it, though. I mean, honestly.
The whole time, dude, because you're like, yeah, it looked like the getaway car of that murderer. Yep. And now you can tell right there because of the swerve to the side, he used to be driving pretty fast, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Case solved, closed, done.
Well, once the cops were notified, 25 men were sent to August Meyer's farm. Once arrived, they tear gassed Augie's house
Oh, my
before
God.
searching it.
And you see the ghost fly out.
They didn't find Charles Starkweather, but they soon found the body of August Meyer in the outhouse. Meanwhile, another farmer checked the storm cellar known as the cave on a hunch and notified police when he found 2 bodies down in the dark. By 4 p.m., over 100 cops had arrived on the Meyer farm, and Charles Starkweather had another 3 bodies attached to his name, bringing the total to 6. At around the same time, Guy Starkweather, Charlie's father, told Bob Von Bush that Charles had called and said he was coming back to Lincoln via Highway 6 to kill Bob for his trespasses.
It's so stupid. There's some question about whether or not that was a prank call or not.
Yeah, but instead of calling the cops, Bob and Charlie's brother Rodney rode out to Highway 6 with a length of rope, hoping they could intercept and hog-tie Charles so they could hand him over to the cops.
That would be fun.
They're going to hog-tie the car?
Well, they're going to get him out of there.
I don't...
They're going to get him out of there, and then they're going to hog-tie him.
They're
and
gonna
he's going
hog-tie
like,
Yeah,
And
you'll be
he's
like,
doing that when he's freaking out.
Damn it, you got me.
Wow.
Charles, of course, never showed, because by the time everyone had found the bodies of August Meyer, Robert Jensen, and Carol King, he'd already killed 2 more people in Lincoln.
Because they found out the ultimate way to hide from the cops. You sleep when the cops sleep. Because they only had like 3 patrol cars at the time. That was the whole thing. And so you just go to sleep. Once you go to sleep at 3 a.m., everyone's asleep. The cops go to sleep too there.
All right.
See, after arriving back in Lincoln in the wee hours of January 28th, just after they'd killed the 2 teenagers, Charles and Caril Ann slept in the car they'd stolen until 7 a.m., then started cruising the wealthier neighborhoods for a suitable getaway car.
Hold on, baby. We're going to wait until it's light outside. Fucking idiots.
Well, eventually, they settled on the home of wealthy businessman and lawyer C. Lauer Ward. Somewhat like the La Bianca house chosen by the Manson family, the Wards were targeted for a tangential reason. Charles had once shoveled snow from their driveway, and there really wasn't much more to it than that other than a vague resentment towards Lauer Ward's success.
Yeah, he was, this is his whole thing, because that's why he went to the fancy neighborhood. Because he's just like, all these have-somes and us have-nots. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like he believed in some way that he was a working man's hero.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And so Charles and Caril Ann arrived at the Ward home at 8 a.m. If you're a working man's hero, you got to work. You got to hold a job.
I really feel like
you got to hold a fucking job. If you're a working man's hero, you got to work.
You should have like a job.
Blew up a chicken man in Philly last night.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Charles went to the front door first with one of his 22 rifles and a hunting knife. But when Charles knocked on the door, it was not one of the Wards who answered, but their housekeeper, Lillian Finkel. Charles pushed his way inside and asked if anyone was in the house, and eventually Lillian told him that Clara Ward was upstairs, waiting for Lillian to finish cooking breakfast. So Charles said, "Finish it," and watched Lillian as she worked.
It's really fucking, because Lillian was also mostly deaf.
Yeah.
And so he had to do everything by because again, he realized she's been like, do what I fucking tell you to do. And then she literally points to her ears like, I can't hear you.
God.
And
Yeah.
then he has
there's
to
also
write
a
it all
dog
out.
barking. There's a dog barking, a dog named Queenie, a Labrador retriever named Queenie, barking really loud.
Cute dog.
Eventually, he starts writing messages, writing shit down, like who else is in house and shit like that.
Oh, wow.
And if you'll get to his spelling, it wasn't very good.
I can imagine.
And after a short period, Clara came down, and Charles told her that he just needed a place to lie low, and if she cooperated, no one would get hurt. Caril Ann was then called inside from the car, and she brought the shotgun. Once everyone was in the house, Charles told Lillian to make him pancakes, then changed his mind to waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And after Lillian made a stack, Charles sat there and ate 6 waffles while Caril Ann held their prisoners at gunpoint.
To be honest, you don't really hear about stacked waffles very often.
I wish that we did.
Large waffle.
I wish we did. It's like ravioli. When you go and get ravioli at the restaurant, and they only give you like 5. And it's just been like, I could eat like 57.
Yeah, you fat motherfucker. It's not about how much you can eat.
Yeah,
it's about
it
a
is.
serving size.
I'm
that
here
they're giving
outside.
you
I'm here
for
at
the
the
amount of
restaurant.
money that you paid for it.
You're like, yeah, but still, I can still eat way more of these.
Yeah, but they have to they have to buy the goods, and then they price it so that they can make a little profit.
whatever. I'm here to eat raviolis.
Yeah, you're never going to get Henry to unstick the correlation between Italian food and I must eat as much Italian food as much Italian food as possible because that's how I know my mother loves me.
That's
At least-
how I eat it.
At least
That's
it's
how I eat
healthy. At least it's good for you. It's not the worst possible thing a person can eat.
I love Italian.
Cheese and carbs. I do love Italian food.
Yeah, me too. At it last
Wait till
night.
we're sitting there. If we're sitting there fucking having raviolis together,
No,
and
buddy,
you're gonna
of
look at the
course,
pile,
you
you
know
know for a
I-
fact we're both of us are gonna be like, oh,
No, well, then we'll buy more. We'll buy more.
what are we, man? I can't be. That's how. God, whatever.
You're
man.
such a fucking queen's bitch. I don't want to buy more. We need to buy more.
Serve me up.
You had 15 already.
Ain't enough.
Well, after eating 6 waffles, Charles Starkweather took a nap, and Caril Ann watched the 2 women as they tried going about their regular day.
Yeah, they literally
Oh
sat there and
my
they're like, "What do you
God.
want us to do?" And Lillian was at some point turned to her and she was like, "What if can we just do our day?" And she was like, "Yeah."
Oh my God.
And so they just lived their day while Charlie went to sleep. This is again why
They
are just. But again, they're kids. They're kids. So there's a scary element because of that. I think that because also during this time period, the entire neighborhood is becoming armed. Like everybody's buying guns
because they're afraid of this
They're
story.
afraid of these kids. They're really afraid of what's happening. The fear is there. I was watching one documentary where the sheriff was like, not only was there no guns available after the end of the day, but I'm pretty certain there wasn't even a bow and arrow. that you could find anywhere because everyone was itching to get their hands on them kids. And that's like, but then he said that the town was ripping itself to pieces. He's like, I couldn't possibly believe. I was like, we almost lost control that day.
It seems like you did lose control.
No.
A long time ago. When
Yeah,
you
but we're
arrest
talking about the law-abiding citizens with guns.
Oh, okay.
Well, once Charles woke up, he and Carol Ann looked through the newspapers and read stories about the only murders that had been thus far discovered, that of Carol Ann's family. They then cut out the articles and the pictures of themselves as keepsakes. Now, as far as how things got out of hand this time, according to Charles, Clara Ward got a hold of a rifle of her own while she and Charles were upstairs, and Clara took a shot. She did, however, miss. She then tried running away, but Charles claims that he threw a knife which sunk into Clara's back.
Because he's Indiana Jones.
He did
'Cause
not
he's
do
so
that.
He's
he did
incredible.
not do that.
Yeah. Well, what Charles actually said is that when they were in the Bartlett house for that week when they were playing house, he said they spent a lot of time practicing throwing knives.
Yeah. You see? And that's and it really is like doing it in action. That's not why guys go to boot camp for 9 months to learn how to kill from the government.
Yeah, well, that's Charles's like tough guy image, like a guy just like sitting there in front of a tree and like throwing a knife and having it stick in, and you grab the knife and then you walk back and you throw the knife and it sticks it in. You do that for 6 hours.
Got him again.
Oh,
Fuck you, Ent.
Yeah, get out of here. I'm going to really piss off people who love trees.
Yep.
Arbor Day.
It's a big deal.
It is
Absolutely.
in some societies.
Yeah. Supposedly, Charles pulled out the knife and went downstairs for a fucking Band-Aid. But when he came back, Clara was trying to call the police. He then tore the phone. Call the police. Call the police. He then tore the phone out of the wall, tied her up, left her in the bedroom, and that was that. Now, the autopsy actually showed that Clara Ward died from multiple stab wounds. And at one point, Caril Ann Fugate did take responsibility for this murder in particular. She said that she stabbed Clara Ward in the throat with her own mother's kitchen knife that she'd brought with her on the trip.
I don't believe it either.
Wait, she had your mom's kitchen knife with her this whole time?
They already said it would snap.
Yeah, then she said she sprayed perfume around the room to mask the scent of blood like she and Charles had done after killing her parents.
Oh, now it smells like the Met Gala.
Yeah.
However, blood and perfume.
Yeah, that's how it
Do you know
smells.
the blood on the hands of the people that go to the Met Gala? It takes a lot of perfume.
However, she later said that she never even went into the room where Clara Ward died, and instead, she hid in the bathroom drinking soda while Charles did the deed.
She just lives like Eric Cartman, trying to hide the sugar impulses he has.
It's true.
And indeed, the autopsy reported that Clara was killed by a double-edged knife, not something often found in a kitchen drawer, which is it's just insane. I don't understand why Caril Ann Fugate would admit to this murder. I don't know why she would make up this story.
I think that what happened, but this is my read. This is where it gets really complicated because all of them. This murder was actually surprisingly brutal. She was stabbed multiple times from the front. Right, she was tied up and stabbed to death on the bed.
Oh man,
that is basically how it happened. She didn't just die from a random wound from his knife throwing thing. I think that it was a scenario where she was. I believe at this point, Caril Ann is truly terrified of Charlie.
Yeah.
More than ever before. I think right now
she could have just
terrified.
killed him when he took a nap after 6 waffles.
This is a lot, right? It's a lot. He's also her entire world now. He's killed her entire family. She has nowhere else to go. This is now her mentor and it's her fucking daddy figure essentially. But they're still equals mentally. So I think what happened is that she was in the room when he was stabbing her to death. Maybe holding her down, maybe doing a thing. And then afterwards, she saw what happened. Like she saw her get stabbed, but then she had been kind of caught up between like, what am I responsible? Am I put into this thing? Her brain is like freaking out.
Better have some soda.
Yeah. Seriously.
Now, by 6 p.m. on January 28th, everyone killed on the Meyer homestead had been found. But Clara Ward's husband, Lauer, had no reason to suspect that he'd have anything to do with it. Indeed, when he arrived home that night, he was coming from a meeting with the governor. Ward was a bigwig. Now, Charles claims again that there was a struggle for the gun, as there always supposedly was. But forensics show that Lauer Ward was shot twice in the throat and once in the temple immediately upon entering his own home. Then he was stabbed in the back between the shoulder blades. As far as housekeeper Lillian Finkel went, she was tied to a bed in the upstairs bedroom and had been stabbed repeatedly in the chest and stomach. Her legs, arms, and hands were covered in defensive wounds, and reportedly, when the body was found, her mouth and eyes were wide open.
Oh, yeah. No, it was scary. Like, this is the thing. It got fucked up in that house.
It did.
Like, something happened.
That's
and that's why you're
brutal,
like,
man.
that's what I was thinking about last night. We're like, that is where everything kind of, like, all of the wheels fell off. And now they're all kind of, they don't know what to do. This is the true meaning. That's why I feel like, in a way, this case obviously has been very scary to people for a very long time. People have found this. And this is a part of it. It's because it's what we've talked about in countless other episodes. Sometimes that childlike thing that is the disconnect. It's a disconnect between you and reality. It can make you do a lot of fucked up stuff.
And it's also, as we've talked about, just your life got confronted by two morons and all the work you did.
Everything gets ripped to pieces because it's literally just the power of total chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise. Louise.
That's
Louise.
That's
Really
my
good. Wow.
official.
Sheesh.
Louise.
I mean, really, when you look at this murder, I mean, it's somewhat of like a 1950s version of the Manson family.
Yeah,
except it's not hippies, it's juvenile delinquents. And there's no
that
cult
is interesting.
Yeah.
It is true. It is very similar because they are products of their time. They are like, it's such a specific 1950s ideal, like that idea of being like a moralist, like, what's it, fucking rebel, literally with a rebel without a cause, like that thing. And then this is what happens to rebels without a cause. They do this type of shit where it's like, there is no cause. And the emptiness of it also speaks to something where, like, they got nothing out of it. It was just their chaos spreading into all of Lincoln.
Most rebels without a cause just sort of grow out of it, and then they go see Rage Against the Machine at Madison Square Garden with better seats than they ever expected to have.
Yeah, most of them turn into Republican House of Representatives.
Exactly. Paul Ryan, remember him?
I'll tell you this, when I did indeed go see Rage Against the Machine at Madison Square Garden, I found out why people like Paul Ryan really love Rage Against the Machine, because like while half of the audience was actually singing along to the words, there was one dude behind me and other dudes all around that were just going like dinner, like they were not screaming killing in the name of, they were just singing
like
along to the funny, to just loving the riffs, man, loving the guitar.
Without Tom Morello, the man's lyrics aren't as good.
Well, after everyone in the house was dead and the nefarious couple scrounged all they could, they got into Lauer Ward's 1956 Packard and drove around town aimlessly before again heading toward the Bartlett house.
What?
But when they saw a car in the driveway, they turned around, stopped for gas, then got on Highway 2 through central Nebraska on their way to Wyoming.
They're finally leaving town.
Yeah,
They're finally leaving town.
It seems like their brains aren't capable of leaving.
Yeah.
Like they're not psychologically capable of doing what they have to do.
I believe that it's a true fear of the freedom. They don't understand what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Rise from your grave.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing? Ben Kissel here with Henry Zabrowski.
Yeah, it's me, man.
Yeah, bro. Henry Zabrowski is smoking some of that sweet last podcast on the left, babe. So go out there and purchase yourself some. I hope you enjoy it. We have sativa, we have indica, and we have a hybrid. And I have to tell you, from my personal experience, they are wonderful.
Super tasty live resin. You really get the delicious weedy taste, which is what I like. And 3 different experiences. You go to your local vape store and get it.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. We absolutely love you. Can't wait to see you on the road and get that vape, put it in your brain, and have a good time.
And if you want us at your favorite weed store, give them a call and ask for them by name.
Absolutely.
Last podcast on the left, it's weed.
Hail yourselves, everyone.
Hail Satan.
Now, by this point, sightings of Starkweather and Fugate spanned 4 states. And while the mayor of Lincoln offered an obligatory $500 reward, the head of the garbage union ponied up $100 himself, either out of some strange sense of responsibility or just because he hated Charles Starkweather that much.
That's the thing with the garbage man. Moral.
But when the bodies of Lauer and Claire Ward were discovered by a cousin, the tone of the investigation shifted. Whereas before Starkweather had only killed those of his own station, he'd now killed 2 wealthy citizens.
Oh, yeah. Extra people.
Extra people.
Plus.
And so instead of just a couple of roadblocks, the governor sent out spotter planes and mobilized 200 members of the Nebraska National Guard.
No,
Hold on now. You killed one of us?
that is literally what they did.
You killed a pause. You killed a pause. You killed one of us.
It was complete with combat gear, M1 rifles, military jeeps outfitted with 30 caliber machine guns.
Jesus.
Citizens, meanwhile, went out and bought their own guns, then very quickly formed posses.
Oh, yeah. People ready to go. It went immediate Old West.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But while the net was closing in around Starkweather and Fugate, their murder spree was not yet at an end. See, one possible reason why Charles hadn't been recognized yet was because people were looking for a peckerwood of the red-headed variety.
Oh.
But just before leaving the Ward home, Starkweather had slathered his mop with black shoe polish to hide his identity.
So he looked like a wet moron.
Yes.
And
What's
so-
the kid from Addams Family in the original
Pugsley.
Yes.
He
Or was
is
it the Munsters? Maybe it was the Munsters kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
he
thinking
looked
of
like
Eddie
Eddie
Munster.
Munster.
Yeah.
He covered himself in gunk, right? And then he put some hat on, some like summer straw hat on. And so then he was driving like very conspicuous.
Extremely conspicuous, yeah. So when they stopped off for cheeseburgers at around 1 a.m. after killing the Wards, no one recognized Charles Starkweather. But since killing the Wards and their housekeeper, Charles said that something between him and Caril Ann had shifted. His feelings towards Caril Ann had started to change, he said, and he was very suddenly struck with the near inevitability that he was going to die in a shootout with the cops, which he very much did not want. That's important to know about Charles Starkweather. He was not on a suicide mission at all.
He didn't want to die in the process of this. He kind of, again...
It almost makes him dumber.
Yes, because he kind of thought that maybe they could get away with all of it. But also at the same time, he's ranting about his dreams of death and how him and death are friends and they
It'll
go
come
in
for you.
hand
Don't
in
worry
hand
about it.
and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So Caril Ann is getting more and more reticent as this is going. Like she is seeing that this is not like this is headed nowhere good. And he's saying he doesn't want to die in a shootout, but guess what? They're headed right for it. And
It's
so
like when I say I don't want to die of diabetes and still Uber Eats every night.
Yeah. As such, when Starkweather stopped for gas about 100 miles from the Wyoming border, he was a little jumpy. In addition, he very obviously had hair that was suspiciously gummed up with black shoe polish. So the attendant called the state troopers, but again, no one came to investigate.
The National Guard was there.
What is happening?
The National Guard, all of these people showed up to stand around. They literally go like, oh, they all came and they were like, all right, when's the invasion? And then they just see two children like covered in shoe polish.
Again, they're 19 and 14. This is 1958. They're not five. They're not a 5 and 6 year old in 2022.
I'm still putting it that Caril Ann's a child, and he is basically a child.
Yeah.
Maybe in terms of mental state, but just looking at them, them being out there. I was driving at the age of 11. Like I was driving to
This
school.
is not good, Marcus.
I was driving to school when I was 12.
The arresting picture
rural
of
America is different.
I know. I was Caril Ann's picture reminded me that she was a child. When I looked at the picture of her arrest, I looked at her and she's very, very,
and to
very
be fair,
small.
Marcus, if I saw you driving at 12 to school and I passed you, I'd be like, there's a child driving that car.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Like, there's a kid driving a car.
I would be pissed as an adult driving.
But it's rural America. Shit works differently out there, especially in 1958.
I gave a speaking gig at a college that did end up getting the booker fired because I did so great. And their children. Until you're 40, I don't know what you are.
Exactly.
So by 1 p.m., after stopping near the Wyoming border for candy bars and 9 bottles of Pepsi, which doesn't really help my argument.
Yes, this is what I'm saying.
Charles and Caril Ann heard on the radio that the Wards and their housekeeper had been found dead. So they decided it would be a good idea to get rid of the Packard. And so just over the border, Charles and Caril Ann spotted a brand new Buick on the side of the road that they figured was abandoned. But inside that Buick, taking a nap after a long night of driving, was an unlucky traveling shoe salesman named Merle Collision.
Whoa. Oh, I thought you were going to say his name was Michael Jordan's father.
Yeah, it would. Unlucky shoe salesman.
That's horrible.
His name is Merle Collision.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, that's another Merle. Second Merle.
Yeah, a lot of Merles.
Yeah, Merle's a pretty common name around this time.
Uh-huh.
Now, once Charles pulled over and saw Merle in the back, he tapped on the window and told Merle to unlock the doors because they were about to trade cars. When Merle ignored him, though, Charles produced his rifle and shot Merle 9 times.
Oh, my God.
Now, there were only 2 bullet holes in the Buick, which implies that some of the wounds were suffered outside of the car. And Charles said that when Merle started talking about how he had a wife and kids, Caril Ann said, "Too bad," and finished him off with 7 more shots. Caril Ann, of course, denies this.
Yeah.
But after Merle was dead, Charles, despite being a so-called hot rod guy, he couldn't figure out how to release the parking brake on Merle Collision's Buick.
I fucking hate these people so much.
They're not good. They're not good at it.
No.
And that is when a good Samaritan named Joe Sprinkle pulled up to help.
Yep.
Now, Joe Sprinkle very quickly saw Merle Collision's dead body and surmised that he was in trouble, especially after Starkweather pointed a rifle and said, "Help me release the parking brake or die."
I surmise
You're going to get me out of this burger. Honestly, look at this.
I surmise
I
I'm
need
in
this
trouble.
emergency brake sprung right now. And this is a Sisyphean, Sphinxian style.
Oh, my God.
I got to step on a lever, right?
You're a moron.
But in contrast to every other story in which Starkweather said that the victim went for the gun, this time Starkweather had a bit of trouble when Joe Sprinkle grabbed the barrel. In fact, Charles was so weak that Joe Sprinkle was able to actually drag him into the road by the gun while Charles kicked and clung to the gun.
No, mister. Oh, mister. This is why if anybody fought him, he was minuscule. They would have wiped the floor with them.
It's at this moment, though, that fate stepped in when a sheriff's deputy named Bill Romer just happened upon the scene. Once Deputy Romer stopped, Caril leaped from Merle Collision's Buick and ran towards him yelling, quote,
"Take me to the police! He's killed a man!"
Oh,
and when the deputy asked who he was, Caril Ann dramatically yelled,
"Charles Starkweather."
Wow. She's not guilty of anything herself,
But
is she?
It's one of those things where she finally got it was too hot. It finally got too hot. She finally just had to run.
Well, it was also, they were about to be busted, so this would be the time for her to flip, right?
The thing is that from the readings and the interviews, she just
she could have shot him in the head when he took a nap after 6 waffles.
She had none of that. She had none of that in her. She was not very smart. She went through this whole thing.
Yeah.
She was terrified of him. She was deeply terrified. And then finally, she was like, I can get out right now. But I don't think she had that much going on in the background. I don't think that she was a plotter. Neither one of them were. She couldn't figure out how to, once she got into the confession room, she tried to figure out how do I make sure I'd always position myself as innocent because I know I have to. But also at the same time, she was vaguely a hostage to this psychopath. And I think that she was doing what she did to get along for as much as she could. And then finally it was like, all right, it's starting to bust open.
What's the name of the old gal there? Stockholm Syndrome, the face.
Patty Hearst.
Patty Hearst.
Very similar.
Patty Hearst. Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, with Caril Ann, I mean, with Patty Hearst, there's a whole can of worms on that one. We're gonna get to that one, but there's a whole can of Patty Hearst is something entirely different. With Caril Ann Fugate, I think it's closer to say an abusive relationship. Yeah. Where you could ask why someone stays with an abusive partner when you say oh, why don't they just leave? It's sort of the same thing with Charles Starkweather and Caril Ann Fugate in that house while Charles is taking a nap. Why doesn't she just shoot him in the head? And the answer is because she's fucking terrified of him. She doesn't know what he's going to do. In her mind, he has taken on quite possibly, this is just speculation, but in her mind, he's taken on this all-powerful figure.
Because he's
become he's become an all-powerful figure where he can do anything. And as Henry said, she's got nobody left. She kills Charlie. Where's she going to go?
Where's she going to go? You know what I mean? That's Charlie is the stabilizing point of her life.
Oh, that's not good.
No,
that's not good at all.
I mean, did she bear some responsibility? Yeah, she absolutely does.
But still,
it's not,
you can be a hostage, a victim. You can be a hostage, a victim, and an accomplice all
Do
one.
you think no one would have been killed without Charlie?
Absolutely not.
So you don't, okay.
It's him. He's the driving force.
So he's the driving force.
Yes. Yeah, no, not a single person. But on the other hand, I also don't think that Carla Homolka would have killed anyone without Paul Bernardo. But
she got a taste, and she was of age. She was at an age that she could make those decisions.
Yeah, Carla Homolka absolutely she wouldn't have done it without him, but once she got with him, she fucking did it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, at that point, when Caril Ann started running towards the sheriff's deputy, Charles let go of the rifle, jumped back into Lauer Ward's Packard, and took off, while the deputy threw Caril Ann in his cruiser and took off in pursuit. While he radioed for backup, Caril Ann piled everything on Charles, saying that she'd seen him kill 10 people. By the time Caril Ann was done with her story, though, a whole pack of police had joined Deputy Romer in the chase, and Starkweather, remember, he is a hot rod guy. He's doing 100 miles an hour through the town of Douglas, zigzagging through traffic.
Finally, he's doing something like fast.
Before long, Starkweather and his pursuers were on the highway going 120, and cops are leaning out of the window, firing their rifles at Charles. The fucking back window of the Packard is shattering.
Wow.
Finally, Charles Starkweather hits a bump in the road. Since he's going 120 miles an hour, the car flies into the air and comes crashing down, completely busted, and it rolls to a stop. And at that point, Charles Starkweather just steps out.
He's like, well, it's been fun.
And you know what you got to do after that? You say, and scene.
And scene.
All right, let's all go back to normal. Everyone's families are alive. Zip, zap, zap. There we go.
The cops ordered him to put his hands in the air, but when he ignored them, they shot at his feet and ordered him to the ground. When the cops cuffed him, though, Charlie's ear was bleeding because it had gotten nicked when the back window shattered. But instead of just dealing with it, Charles cried out that he'd been shot, then whined that he was bleeding to death.
Oh.
Yeah, he, and then what was the last statement he said? He's like, you know, for all the things that we done, at least for a little while, sir, me and her, we had us some fun.
Oh, my God. I'm going to fucking kill you. And your main injury is the same that every girl gets at Claire's when they get their ears pierced for the first time by someone 3 years younger than them and they're 12.
Yeah, you get that ear hymen. Get it snapped.
It's so gross. Fantastic.
Finally, though, when Charles calmed down in the backseat of a cop car, he said that Caril Ann had nothing to do with what had happened over the course of those 2 bloody weeks in January.
Wow.
As far as Caril Ann went, though, her stories began changing and evolving almost immediately. Yes. Before she'd even arrived at a police station, she told Deputy Romer that her home in Lincoln had been the headquarters for a group of teenage delinquent bank robbers, which was the same thing she'd told Starkweather's sister 2 weeks before. She said that the others had all chickened out at the last second despite being armed with Tommy guns. And when they left, Charles and Caril Ann left too. And things just sort of got out of hand from there.
Sure,
I see.
Sure, yeah. They were
Right.
inspired by the gang that was there.
Yeah.
It's, you know, again, they just don't know what to say. They were both trying to figure out that, how do you describe the indescribable? We talk about what the folie de, right? There's these private moments where it's very difficult to tell what objective truth is. You have 2 people in a room that no one else knows what happens but those 2.
I have a little app game that I can play. I can tell who's the mother of the baby.
Yeah, that's different. Because it's clear-cut answers. Again, that's what they provide.
You know
Those
what the
games
answer is?
provide stability for you.
It's whoever the baby is looking at.
Couldn't care less. Wow. And honestly, I bet you I could go into the room and I could fucking go, oh, the baby's going to look at me. Am I the mother?
No, the babies are going to be looking. Oh, wait. No, it's who the baby is.
Oh, the baby's going to look at me. Oh, I'm Mr. Daddy now? Is that all it takes to be the loudest in the room?
And then the dog is looking away to protect you.
But you can't tell what to their do, right, in their time. You can't figure out what actually happened because it's just 2 people's story of a thing that no one knows what actually happened. But you know, if both are saying that the other one did absolutely everything and they didn't possibly do anything, you know that that's not true either. You know that there is a middle way to reality that it's very difficult to figure out.
What if we both say we did nothing? No case there.
That's it. And then you're done. They got to let them go.
No case there.
Got to let you go.
When both Charles and Caril Ann got to the station house, they were fucking filthy. Neither had bathed for days on end. Charles was bloody and ridiculously covered in shoe polish, and Caril Ann oddly refused to bathe or change her clothes at all. Which, you know, might point towards the possibility that she is fully in shock.
Yeah.
Now, while Charles immediately admitted to every murder and did so with gusto, Caril Ann kept changing her degree of responsibility after dropping the bank robber story. Sometimes she'd say that she'd been kidnapped and was little more than a spectator. Other times she'd admit to a robbery or holding someone hostage or even a stabbing or 2. Of course, that's not the end-all be-all. We know how fucking confessions work once you get into the box.
Once you're in there, man.
People, especially people of lower intelligence, tend to get convinced that they did things that they actually didn't fucking do.
Oh, yeah, they're pushing and pulling, man, especially with these 2, because they're like, they got to flip one on the other.
But Caril Ann would also sometimes slip up and admit to knowing things she wasn't supposed to know. One time, she told a sheriff's deputy's wife that the papers actually got the order that her family had been killed in all wrong. The paper said that they had been killed outside, but then Caril Ann was like, actually, no, they were killed inside, and then they got drugged outside.
And that's why this case is all about media.
It's about media.
Look at media. Look what they're doing to us.
But I think another big tell is that they cut out the pictures themselves to keep.
Yeah, dude, that's not normal, man. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anytime Caril Ann realized that the information she'd given was incriminating, she'd go silent and would sit there twisting Kleenex tissues into paper dolls until people stopped asking her questions. I think Caril Ann did also play up the child angle quite a bit.
She would have just been married to Mike Huckabee at some point anyway.
Oh, very much
She would
so.
have been a governor's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just horrible.
She did, however, say enough to get her indicted. So she and Charles were extradited from Wyoming to Nebraska, where the death penalty was still very much in play for the both of them. However, they had to drive because Starkweather was afraid of flying. And for this, he was roundly mocked in the press.
You know, hey, he got one thing right.
I'm surprised that they gave a shit.
Yeah,
Who
I'm
cares?
honestly being like,
I'm really afraid of being shot randomly by a child.
I guess would that be considered like bad if he requests to not be flown? Like, was it
Who
one of those things
gives
they
a
call
shit?
I don't give a fucking shit, but it's one of those things. Is that abuse of a prisoner or something? If you don't listen to their needs, or you just doing this for a photo op?
The man killed 10 people.
I think they
8
do it
people?
to embarrass him as well. I think
Just
they're like,
fly.
all right, I guess we'll drive you.
Let the baby have it. Let the baby have what he wants. Yeah, I get it. Now, once Charles finally wrote a confession, he somehow didn't know how many of each gender that he'd killed. Instead of saying he killed 6 men and 5 women, he said he killed 9 men and 2 women. This inability to differentiate between genders or even do basic arithmetic was later used by his defense in part to show that Charles was insane.
Now, jury, let's take a look at this penis. Charles, what do you see?
I see a nose between 2 soft eyes.
Note. Now, let's take a look at this vagina. Now, Charles, what do you see?
I see a scary place. It's filled with worms and bats.
The man can't tell the difference between a penis and a vagina.
Yeah, as we know, Charles Starkweather, he's just a fucking idiot. And he's probably just fuzzy on memory as he was with everything. He truly didn't remember what gender the people, like it was just all a blank. I killed 11 people. I don't really
But wouldn't
remember.
that be a tell of a sociopath as well? He doesn't see facial expression. I mean, is it possible that he literally saw them as entities and not biological humans?
It happened real fast. Like this happened over like 3 days after they were holed
the crazy
up.
Thing. So this has been a 14-day total span.
I want to say it was 8 to 10 days.
Yeah, 8 to 10 days, somewhere around there. Yeah,
And so they
less
were
than
not
2 weeks, certainly.
Yeah,
Wow.
It happened very, very fast. I think that's a part of it. And then again, the whole time he was stressed, Kissel.
I know, and all the Pepsi.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't help.
No.
All the Pepsi. Now, once the press got a hold of the character that was Charles Starkweather, they were able to reduce everything Starkweather had done to tight blue jeans, leather jackets, James Dean movies, and Elvis Presley singles.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting destabilized just thinking about it.
Absolutely.
But while Charles welcomed his status as the nation's #1 juvenile delinquent, his defense tried a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. Charles, however, hated being seen as crazy, just like Ted Kaczynski, a.k.a. the Unabomber, had been against his insanity defense.
Also, members of the jury, let's take a look at this jacket. It's pleather. Indeed, my client's never worn leather.
See, Kaczynski hadn't wanted to plead insanity because it would have invalidated his manifesto and therefore all of his intellectual ideals. Starkweather, on the other hand, believed that an insanity defense would invalidate his place in history as an outlaw. As he put it, quote,
Nobody remembers a crazy man.
They do, actually.
Yeah, they actually do quite often.
Very much so.
Dude, we actually have a very famous man that we know. He's known as Weird Al. And he's actually become very famous for being weird.
Absolutely. And of course, there's Crazy Al, who has the great mattress sales on 9/11.
Oh, these
There's
prices
a
are
bunch of
falling.
stuff.
Well, concerning the insanity defense, Kaczynski and Starkweather are 2 sides of the same coin, with one being so smart he's stupid, and the other being just plain stupid.
Plain old stupid.
But in the end, both of them pretty much ended up in the same pile.
Such tips.
Yeah.
It's like hippies and Republicans on vaccines.
Yeah.
Hippies and evangelicals on vaccines. They touch tips.
That is true. Cute Venn diagram.
But while Kaczynski is still to this day rotting in Colorado Supermax, Charles Starkweather didn't have to wait long to ride the lightning.
Oh, yeah.
By the time of his trial, he no longer cared whether he lived or died, and actually didn't even care if Caril Ann lived or died.
Man, he had crazy hair. If you see all the footage of him in jail, he had big hair. I didn't even think about it like that. It's kind of, I know it's weird, I guess because it's such from the time period, but it was kind of wild.
It's big and square. It's real square. It's
weird
crazy
looking.
square. Like that, it's oddly square. It takes a long time to make your hair that square.
Well, he did have a lot of time on his hands.
He did.
But Starkweather's family was likewise somewhat nonchalant about death. When Charles Starkweather was found guilty and sentenced to the electric chair on May 23rd, 1958, his father said this to the press, and this is an exact fucking quote.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Let's go. This is amazing. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Let's all go out and get a steak.
Yeah.
That is the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Let's all go out and get a steak.
I want that tattooed on me.
I need that.
Yeah.
I need that in my life. I mean, he's definitely the creator of a total sociopath.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. That's very much Midwest dad.
Wow.
Now, up next was the trial of Caril Ann Fugate, who at the time had the dubious honor of being the youngest woman in American history to stand trial for first-degree murder. But don't worry, we have convicted a 13-year-old girl since then.
America wins!
Horrible.
We got her again.
That was the one thing with the awful, I mean, obviously the Slender Man stabbing, totally horrible, but the conclusion that they made to try them as adults was the crime was so vicious that no child would do it, but the fact that they believed in Slender Man proves they're children.
They're children.
And it just is what it is.
Yes.
Now, during her trial, Caril Ann would go from being a smiling teenager blushing at compliments one second to a hard-faced, angry young woman the next, and she often spoke in a clipped, brittle voice. She also turned on Charles during the trial, personally and honestly, needlessly insulting him by saying that they never went down. Yeah, he could use it, but I don't see what this has to do with her defense for murder. She said, we never went dancing because he was too bow-legged.
Sad.
Well, if I'm the jury, I'm like, fuck that guy, man. You got to at least go dancing.
Nerd. Yeah.
She came with you on 11 murders. You can go dancing every now and again.
She also said that she held no responsibility for anything and that she didn't even know her family was dead until after she was arrested, which at the very least is a statement that stretches the limits of credulity.
That's a very fair way of saying a lie. Yes, I do. She lied to just because you lie doesn't mean you're necessarily guilty of many murders, but it's because
they lived a whole week together.
She's trying to get the fuck out of there. She's trying to figure out what to do. But look, this is how you dance while bow-legged, if you can see on the camera.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, there we go. Old crackling knees Zabrowski dancing well bow-legged. That's where the fiddle music comes in. And you can really do it. You can do some bow-legged dancing. I was out there with Taylor in San Antonio. I saw a couple of people dancing with bow legs. They can do real good. You can shuffle, you can hustle, you can scuttle. There you go.
Great for the podcast.
Fantastic.
Just perfect.
Well, it's good for the podcast.
Perfect.
And
it's good to hear the little steps.
You can do the steps. And again, it's good for the scuttle.
It's good for the scuttle.
Absolutely.
Well, during Caril Ann Fugate's trial, Charles even came in and testified against her after he'd been sentenced to death, saying she was an equal partner in the spree. And by the end of it, the jury somewhat agreed. Based on Caril's damning statements to cops, her conflicting statements, and a, quote, snippy attitude during cross-examinations.
Yep, that's how you get convicted for murder.
Little double standard there.
Yeah. She was sentenced to life with parole, narrowly avoiding the electric chair. Charles, on the other hand, tried ensuring that his story lived on by writing an unreadable 200-page autobiography that he sold to Parade magazine for $1,000.
But that's the only way we know anything about him being bullied and stuff. So that's what he centered it all on. It was all on how he needed to take something back from society.
Right.
Because he also was a prolific artist. He did a lot of drawings that were crude at best.
You play the long game, man. You just have to, at some point, win. You got to get money, success.
Yes, that's how you do it. That's how nerds win. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But Charles's father also cashed in on his son's notoriety, selling Charlie's signature and even locks of his hair, all while he introduced himself to every single person he met as Charles Starkweather's father, usually unprompted.
Yeah, and a little wink.
my God.
Like,
Let's go get a steak.
I actually watched a documentary with the surviving Starkweather family, and they all you wonder where they get it from.
Are they proud of it?
They refuse to change their names, even though, according to them, yeah, this name's ruined every single aspect of our lives, but we continue it because we ain't gonna cotton to any of y'all telling us, the whole world telling us we're wrong. We ain't wrong. It's that feeling where they're like, and they're all like, it's a string of literal Charles Starkweather multiplicity clones.
Right.
Like in a trailer, just being like, I ain't changed the name for nothing. Yeah, and people come up to me and say, hey, Starky, who you gonna murder next? Not tell them, you better be lucky it ain't you. Yeah, I'm unemployed. And it's only just because of my name. Certainly not my attitude or actions.
In the end, though, Charles Starkweather, after 2 brief reprieves, he was sent to the electric chair on June 25th, 1959, a little over a year after his conviction. Oddly enough, though, for his last meal, he had a Coke, not a Pepsi.
What the fuck?
Dude, it's just the guy is a brand. He's not a loyalist to a brand.
Holy fucking
And
shit.
it's just such a fucking piece of insight into how
Knife
this
in the
man,
back.
unbelievable. Pepsi fueled your entire murder campaign.
I don't
And then
know,
you're gonna
maybe it was
switch
at
it
the
up to
prison.
Coke?
Maybe he asked for Pepsi at prison and they said, we don't have Pepsi,
Coke all
sorry.
right?
Sorry, is the Coke okay?
And you know how many times back in the day, you know what I used to say? No, it's fucking not.
No,
I can't
You know,
tell the
it's not,
difference.
you know,
You can't tell the difference.
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
No, you cannot.
They're very
100%
different.
can. It's
They're-
extremely
absolutely. I
easy. It's
disagree.
extremely
Can
easy
you
to
tell the
tell
difference
between Pepsi and
You
Coke.
can put them in front of me right now and I can still tell the difference. And I haven't had it in 10 years.
Yeah, Pepsi puts more of a film on your teeth.
Well, I actually like Pepsi better because we're a Pepsi family because my grandfather worked for Pepsi.
I know you're a Pepsi
And so I
fan.
learned to you get a taste for it.
Yes.
But Crystal Pepsi is very good. The old
We
days.
used to just drink them. What is it? I think it was called Mr. Cola. It's from Walmart.
Dr.
Oh, is
Thunder.
this about classism?
It is about class because you had an inside track to Pepsi and televisions because your father was a police officer and Marcus grew up in a Coca-Cola family.
No, we're a Dr. Pepper family.
Oh,
So
you're
fuck you
Dr.
both.
Oh,
holy shit.
interesting. Although I do believe Dr. Pepper is a Coca-Cola product.
It is a Coca-Cola product. Mr.
No,
Pibb
Dr.
is the
Pepper.
Pepsi
No,
version.
no, Dr. Pepper is its own thing.
Is that right? Diet Dr. Pepper is my favorite soda.
We have come. We're like 3 sentences away from the end of the episode.
Yes, I
We're
know.
like really close.
Well, they got a Coca-Cola Classic. Coca-Cola.
Well, after giving no last words, Charles Starkweather was electrocuted to death at 12:04 a.m. Caril Ann, meanwhile, ended up serving a little less than 20 years in prison. She was released on parole for good behavior in June of 1976 at the age of 32, saying that all she wanted to do was settle down, get married, have a couple of kids, wash the socks, and burn the toast.
I love that. I'm fine with Caril Ann being released. I can't believe Carla Homolka got released. That's the one who should have probably stayed in the fucking jail.
Yeah,
She's a
stayed in
burn the
jail
toast, though.
forever.
Why is she going to burn the toast?
It's fun.
It's
Suburban.
fun. Yeah.
She's a Red Sox fan?
That's stupid.
She said wash the socks.
Wash the socks.
Not wash the socks.
Okay, excuse me. Wash the socks.
Wash
You get
the
it now?
socks.
Wash
There we
the
go.
socks.
Now
There you
I
go.
get it. I thought she was a Red Sox fan. Would make sense.
He's from Nebraska.
I don't know, buddy. She has no loyalty.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
However, she didn't get married until 2007. And her husband tragically died in a car accident just a few years later.
Can I say
No, she just...
Did somebody cut the brakes?
No.
No,
Personally, I think Caril Ann Fugate paid her debt to society.
I didn't think so.
No,
I think-
I'm not saying that
Yeah.
but I'm just saying to say she could kill again.
Nah,
I knew she killed. She never killed. She was never the violent one.
No,
She's
I
never
don't
the
think she
violent.
never killed. No, she never
I
killed
doubt-
anyone.
I don't think
No.
she killed anybody.
Okay.
No, I don't think so either.
All right.
In fact, she's still alive and kicking somewhere in Michigan. She claims, as she did during her trial, that she bore no responsibility for the murders. And in fact, she was last heard from in 2020 when she requested a pardon from the state of Nebraska. Her request, however, was denied, proving that the wounds inflicted by Charles Starkweather still run deep.
She still maintains that her innocence was finally proved when she did an episode of a show called Lie Detector in 1978
Was
on
that on
television.
MTV?
It was hosted by F. Lee Bailey.
Oh yeah, and
Is
she
that
went
right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then she took a lie detector on set.
How'd she do?
She passed.
All right, there you go.
Actually, she answered 2 out of 3 questions truthfully, but they wouldn't say which 2 out of the 3.
Fantastic. Inconclusive. There we go.
But she took that as definitive.
Yeah.
I
She may
did
have.
take a lie detector test.
I loved her on Pimp My Ride. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. We
I
put a
watched
mud in your car so you could mud while you drive.
There you go, a pro mudding car exhibit. I did read or watched a YouTube expose. They said the show is fake. And I was like, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
It's a PlayStation 5. Or
His
PlayStation.
name is Exhibit.
Oh, he was very good, though.
But yeah, that's an exhibition.
He
You know
was
what I mean?
very good. All right, everyone. Charles Starkweather, part 2. And that is it.
We
what
did
a
it.
fascinating tale of mayhem. Youthful misdeeds.
You got to be careful out there.
overall, spotty police work.
Very much so.
Lazy. I'd say lazy.
Go in today. Today is the day. If you haven't done a room check for your teenager, you go in there today while they're at school and you rip apart that whole fucking place and you look every single thing that's going on there.
Oh,
You
that's
look at
good.
it,
If
you
they
read all
have
their stuff.
any Pepsi, call the police.
Call the police.
Okay, it's an indictment on Pepsi.
Police. So next week we'll be at the beautiful Beacon Theater. I can't believe it. It's good with Hometown Boys. Hometown
Doing
Boys made good.
Doing it.
Doing it.
The
Doing
Beacon
it.
Theater.
It's going to be good.
Almost. We're very close to being sold out on that. So if you want to come, make sure and get your tickets today.
Well, this will be good.
Yes.
We got to do the Beacon because that's one step closer to Radio City Music Hall.
So
And
close.
then we can have the Rockettes open up for us.
Oh, yeah. And they'll love it.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
We dress them up as serial killers. It'll be real on brand.
Yeah, they'll love it just as much as the people who ran Graceland loved us.
They loved us. They were saying, loved us. They loved us being there.
No, I don't know if you guys remember. They did not like us. The fans liked us. I don't know if you
fans
guys
liked
are-
us.
you guys
Loved
being
it.
sarcastic. Guys.
Fans loved it.
But I want to say thank you guys. Next week, we are going to get super wheeled.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
really
Wheeled.
excited to finally get back to seeing some old pals of ours. Some guys that I really miss, haven't been around in a while.
Oh.
And I'm really excited. I want to say hello to them. And it's going to be good.
Fantastic.
Reunited.
And thanks to everyone who came out in Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, so Cincinnati.
It was Cleveland. It was 30
Akron.
minutes out
It
of
was
Cleveland.
Between Akron and Cleveland, yeah.
And Akron. So whoever came out to that casino show, thank you so much. It was such a great weekend, and it always brightens our hearts.
Yep.
To see you there. Let's go get some steak. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
Let's go get some steak, man.
I love it.
I get it. Yeah, because what are you going to do? If your son is Charles Starkweather, you're like, yeah. Like, well, everything's fucked now. But I also saw the dude that got the Starkweather getaway car, and it was scintillating. It was like, yeah, I did. When I found that old burnout car, and I knew that that was a back in the day we called that the getaway car. And yeah, now it's just, it was sitting over there. People come by and they say, whoa, what's that over there? And I say, that's a getaway car.
It's a getaway car. Why is it called a getaway car?
Oh, well, that's what they were trying to get away, and unfortunately, it was an unsuccessful getaway.
All right, everyone, hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Again.
Congratulations, everybody.
Hail me. Don't trust the teens.
Yeah, fine. I'm fine with it.
Sure.
Arrest every teen. Just one time. This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.